Item SCP-058 Object Class Keter Special Containment Procedures SCP-058 is to be kept in an isolation of a 5M by 5M by 5M containment chamber at all times. Walls are to be constructed of 3M, 10 feet, and reinforced heat-resistant steel backed with a further 10M, 33 feet, of reinforced concrete. SCP-058 is to be fed a live cow every 3 days. Maintenance is to be conducted every 60 minutes, while SCP-058 is dormant, and every 15 minutes when SCP-058 is active. Under no circumstances is SCP-058 to be allowed out of its containment area. SCP-058 is to be audio recorded at all times. No personnel are to listen to SCP-058 for more than 30 minutes at a time. In case of escape, faculty is to be considered compromise and detonation of on-site nuclear weaponry is to commence. To date, SCP-058 has been responsible for death for at least 149 Class D personnel and 14 agents at its current site. Description: SCP-058 resembles a bovine heart with 4 arthropod legs, used primarily for movement, and 4 tentacles for adjustable length. Covered with razor-sharp spines, it has a single sharp stinger on its rear, where the whole of the superior vena cava would be in a typical organ. SCP-058's tentacles can be whipped to a distance of 3.2 m, 10.5 feet, at speeds in excess of 320 kilometers per hour, 200 mph. SCP-058 is extremely hostile and will use every opportunity to have afforded to inflict damage on its surroundings. When SCP-058 has been shown to be highly resistant to trauma and should be approached with caution, even if apparently incapacitated. SCP-058 is highly mobile and capable of rapid movement in both horizontal and vertical surfaces. It has been recorded reaching a speed of approximately 90 km/h, 55 mph, in short bursts, covering distance up to 200 meters, 656 feet, and has the ability to accelerate from 0 to 90 km/h, 55 mph, in less than 2 seconds. It has been shown to use its tentacles for increased leverage and stability, as well as utilizing them to pull itself to other surfaces at high speeds. SCP-058 speaks in a human voice. Though no method of producing sound has been observed in its physiology, it speaks with vocal tone and accent of an elderly British male with a slight lisp and deep voice. Speech are unchanged. SCP talks constantly regardless of conditions. Even when attacking, SCP-058's voice and pace of speech are unchanged. The speech of SCP-058 lacks any detectable correlation to events or persons or exterior locations involved with SCP-058. See transcript of interview 058-04. Note: SCP-058 was first encountered at site as it came out of data expunged. SCP-058 was extremely hostile and appeared to be very agitated. Initially, SCP-058 attacked the site, which resulted in the death of faculty, and agents. SCP-058 went on to attack the nearby town of, resulting in the death of redacted citizens and the destruction of 70% of the surrounding buildings. Post-breach analysis determined a majority of deaths are attributed to fire and fire-related injuries resulting from a widespread of stinger fluid by SCP-058 from a large structure. This is also blamed for a majority of structural damage by SCP-058 accounts for only 8% of total deaths, with major evidence data expunged. SCP-058 was finally contained after being crushed and incapacitated by a large amount of masonry from buildings and that had collapsed on top of it. SCP-058 was then extracted and transported by agents and NTF teams. SCP-058 was contained for 3 weeks, during which it made minimal attempts to move, attributed both to physical damage and bloating from during the initial breach incident. Testing during this period was limited, with SCP-058 still maintaining a high threat level in its impaired state. SCP-058 breached containment during an attempt transfer to an SCP containment site, causing multiple deaths and injuries. SCP-058 was eventually incapacitated by agent who managed to subdue SCP-058 by running it over with an M1 tank, pinning it beneath the armored vehicle. SCP-058 was subsequently secured and transported to an armed biocontainment area 14. Transcript of interview 058-404. SCP-058. I had dreams of the Queen, wonders that lived inside of the hearts and silent treatments of all the elderly that I knew were once whole. Dr. Johnson. What is your name? SCP-058. I seek the revelations of that the holy told us the unwise that in the dreams of cold embers in sunlight that fade across lakes of black blood and snakes that eat the loaves of children from lamb trees in autumn. Dr. Johnson. What is your name? SCP-058. Endless suffering is the woe of ignorant men who never lack to seek the depth of their own hearts and only see wealth of a poor world suffering to flay down it back in knife wounds of silver and brutal gladness. Dr. Johnson. Where are you from? SCP-058. The nightmare is a dream to the nameless slug that wanders across the minefield and the remains of deers and kings. Personality 067. This is some creepy D067 cuts off into screaming. SCP-058. Nightshade is the shadows in all honest blinks that are sort through the bile of newborn plagues. Instant warmth is the mother's milk in dreams before anything was ever evil. Personality 067. Continues screaming. Dr. Johnson. Let him go! SCP-058. In seconds, the sun beating like drums in all the hearts eat those ear of noise. Personality 067. Screaming is cut short abruptly. SCP-058. The sense of violence of lust is all the assurance you will ever need to know the worth of life. End log.